Hi, I'm John Nerrell, and welcome to the Mid-Career GPS podcast. If you're feeling stuck in your career and overwhelmed by what steps to take, I can help you. As an executive and career transition coach, I help my clients prepare, position, and promote who they are and what they do to show up and find a job they love or love the job they have. It's time to start building your mid-career GPS. So let's get started. Hi, everyone. How are you today? All right, first question, we get started. Are we connected on LinkedIn? If we are not, I want you to send me a connection request. And in that little add a note section that you get to do, just reference that you heard this podcast and you wanted to connect with me. I'm always happy to connect with people on LinkedIn and would love to specifically hear from you. So connect with me on LinkedIn. I also want to begin today's episode and fill you in on something I've been talking about a little bit, but I have not talked specifically on this podcast. I got a book coming. It's actually my second book. Last year, I wrote a book called Show Up: 6 Strategies to Lead a More Energetic and Impactful Career. Actually, I wrote it the year before, published it in 2020. And I made a decision the end of 2020 as I was thinking about how I could just add some more value and started working on this next book. And a couple of weeks ago, I actually met with a great group of people in my network who I asked to serve on my editorial board for my book. They gave me such fantastic feedback and information about how to make this book better for all of you. And so I'm just kind of planting the seed that there is a book coming around helping you with your career development. I look forward to you being a part of it and supporting it and sharing it. And just wanted to kind of begin and put this out there because I am hopeful that in maybe a month or so, this book is going to be out there. And, projected timeline would be before mid-year, but hopefully a little bit sooner than that. So got the book coming. So excited for that as well. And I also want to give a shout out to Tammy Guler-Loeb, who wrote this wonderful review that I wanted to share with you. She wrote, "I love the way John frames and informs his audience about important career considerations that most of us need to be thinking about. The episodes are presented in an accessible way that gives the listener something they can wrap their minds around, think about, and act on within a reasonable period of time. For anyone who is looking to grow and develop themselves to be ready to move forward for the future in their career, listen to John Nerrell and his guests. You will be glad you did." Tammy, thank you so much for the review and the shout out. And I shared your review today because this, once again, is exactly what I'm going to do for all of you. You may want to get a pen and piece of paper, open up a notepad file, open up a Word document, wherever you care to capture some notes. Please don't do this while you are driving. But today we are going to talk about 4 steps that you need to take to create your mid-career GPS. And they are: prepare, position, promote, and show up. What I'm going to share with you today, I have found over and over and over again, not only in my career, but in the work I get to do with my clients, that these are the 4 key things that anybody who is navigating along their career journey, whether they are actively looking for a job or not, need to be doing day in and day out on a consistent basis. So let's talk about preparation. What you are doing right now is preparing you for whatever is next. If you are focused on getting that promotion, you are building the skills, the knowledge, and the competencies to go level up and get that next position. If you are looking for a new job, maybe considering leaving your organization, you're trying to get your stuff in order. But one of the things people often forget to check, or spend time focusing on is around your attitudes and your strengths. Your strengths are those demonstrated competencies that you do well. You are known for, you are recognized for, it is part of your brand and a huge part of your reputation. But your attitudes that come into this process are critical for figuring out whatever is next. Maybe you've got a bad boss. A lot of people do. Sad to say, but a lot of people do. Maybe you got passed over for that promotion once again. Maybe you don't see a path upward in your company and you're feeling a little bitter about it, or you're angry, frustrated, upset, disappointed. Whatever those things are, your attitudes, we need to clear all that stuff up. I'm not saying disavow it or not acknowledge it, but we need to clear those things up in our mindset in order to help prepare you for what is coming. When I work with my clients, the first thing that we do is they take something called the Energy Leadership Index assessment. It may not be an assessment you're familiar with, but I can assure you it is got great reliability and validity stats because that appeals to the assessment geek in me. But more importantly, what it does is it helps people get a very clear picture of the lenses they're putting on situations when they're performing at their best, as well as when they are under stress. And it is an eye opener and a game changer for all of the people who have taken this in terms of how to best prepare them for what's coming in their career, whether they're looking to navigate out of their organization or navigate into a new position internally. And then another part of preparation is getting really clear about your strengths. I love Gallup's Clifton Strengths Finders assessment. If you have never taken it, we should talk. But you can also go and take it yourself. You can go to their website and check that out. But what Gallup says, and says it so beautifully, is that when we tap into our top 5 strengths, when we find work that hits those strengths that are at the top of our list, we get to add the most value. We contribute more frequently. Our job satisfaction increases. Our overall work-life balance is better. And we tend to be happier, right? So in terms of preparing, how well or how clear are you on your workplace strengths and why your current organization or somebody else needs those? How much does the work align to your core values? If you are somebody who is, say, against drinking, or you choose not to drink, going to work for a winery or an alcohol distributor probably wouldn't align with your personal values. If you care deeply about the environment, working for a company that doesn't is going to be a real values conflict for you. These are the things in terms of preparation we need to be really clear about. If you didn't listen to the episode, it's episode 12 called How to Communicate Your Value. You need to go back and listen to that after you've done this one, because I walk you through an exercise about creating your unique professional value statement that is really going to help you, especially when you're promoting who you are and what you do, that we'll talk about in a few minutes. The last thing about preparation as you build your mid-career GPS is that there are going to be times when you're not going to feel like you're going very fast. You're going to deal with delays, bumps in the road, detours, all of these things. And it is going to cause you to worry and feel very overwhelmed. You need to have a plan in place in order to manage that. Again, I'm not saying ignore it, but you need to have a plan in place in order to manage when you're not having one of those stellar days and you're concerned about when is the promotion coming or when is the new job coming. These are things that need to be in place because if not, they can really rattle you. It can almost essentially be like pulling the car off the road because you just don't know why you're moving forward or how you're going to move forward. So, to prepare means we have to be really clear about our attitudes, our strengths, our core values, our impact, our value, and how we're going to manage this whole process. I remember the first time I was told my contract was not being renewed, which in the world of education means you're fired. Now, it was my very first teaching position right out of college. I was working for a small private school, and I had made a very conscious decision that I was not going to pursue a graduate degree in the field I was teaching, which happened to be religion. I was not going to go get a master's degree in theology. I had taken a course. I was not going to go ahead and pursue a master's degree. And in the end, being an at-will employee, they decided not to renew my contract. They chose not to do that. And the thing of it was, and I appreciated this later on, I didn't appreciate it necessarily at the time, but they let me know in like February. And so I still had the rest of the school year to go through. And I was angry and I was upset and I was frustrated and I was trying to figure out what was next. And it really put things in place for like 18 months where I was working multiple jobs and was trying to figure out what the heck I was going to do. And I literally felt like, and I can look back on this now and make this connection, but I literally felt like somebody took the wheels off my car and I just wasn't going anywhere. It would be like me treading water in a swimming pool. I was just kind of staying in that space. I knew I was going to move forward some way, but boy, did that rattle me back then. And yet we learn from those experiences and we move forward because what that helped me to do was to also understand where I fit in and where I didn't. It is why I made that transition to go and teach middle school mathematics because I loved math, right? And I had an opportunity to go do that. I didn't get a minor in mathematics or an education degree with my bachelor's. I got a BA in psychology. And so it set me up to go to graduate school to move myself forward that way. Wherever you are on your career journey right now, your preparation and what you are doing because you are where you are right now because of the totality of your experiences is also helping you position yourself very strategically, which is step number 2 in creating your GPS. When you are clearer about where you are and where you want to go, then your resume and your LinkedIn start making a whole lot more sense. If you do not have a resume that is serving you because you are getting invites to initial interviews, your resume isn't working as best as it can for you. And my advice is that you get your resume professionally written. And if you want a recommendation, I'm happy to give you one. Okay. But your positioning and positioning yourself very strategically needs to come through in especially that top third of your resume in your professional profile. And the same thing in what you are seeing on LinkedIn between your banner, your headline, and your about section. Your positioning is focused around the value you are going to provide to that new organization. Things like being a team player, being a great communicator, those are skills. And they are also what I like to consider to be givens or absolutes that anybody we would hire needs to have those skills. You have to find the way that makes you stand out differently than anybody else. Think about your superpower, your secret sauce, what makes you unique. And when you are positioned accordingly, then you can go and promote who you are and what you do. And that is the third step. You will hear me say, if you listen to the introduction on this podcast, right? You heard me say that I help mid career professionals prepare, position, and promote who they are and what they do to show up and find a job they love or love the job they have. I am positioned very strategically as a coach with this specific skill set. The promotion comes in now when I network, now when I'm connecting with people. You need to think of this in the same way for where you're at in your career and find ways to exercise that unique professional value statement. Be as expressive and opportunistic and communicative as possible, that anybody who is willing to listen is going to hear that very authentic and genuine statement about what it is that you do. Pique their curiosity, generate that interest, get them asking a little bit more about why you do the work you do, why it's important to you, what are some of your accomplishments and achievements. And as I talked about in episode 12, which was that how to communicate your value, what we're talking about here is about telling your story from this place of value and service, right? It's not about bragging about how great you are, right? Let them get to know who you are. But if you've saved a company millions of dollars, or you've brought in a couple $100,000 of business to a small enterprise or a small business locally in your neighborhood, those are things you can be like, and this is what I did. And this is how I did it. This is why it is important or why it is valuable. And I will say this over and over and over again until the day I die. How we show up matters. The showing up component in building your GPS is something that unequivocally arcs throughout every component along your career journey. It is about the ground rules you set, the conversations you have, the ownership you take, the opportunities you are open to receiving, how well you use your genius, and how much and how often you protect and promote your brand. Because if nobody has told you this, I'm going to tell you right now, you're pretty special. There is something you do that is valuable to someone out there. Someone is waiting to hear from you. But if you are sitting back and you are waiting for it to happen, the likelihood that the knock on the door is going to come, the email is going to land in your inbox, or your smartphone's going to ring is minimal. You need to get out there and tell people how great you are, but do it from that place of value and service. Look, nobody wants needy. Nobody wants creepy. Okay. It was funny. I was having a conversation with someone the other day and they said to me, "What's your goal on LinkedIn?" And I'm like, not to be creepy, right? Nobody wants creepy. Nobody wants to meet a total stranger virtually and think they're a creep, right? You build relationships over time. It's that know, like, and trust factor. But how we show up matters. It's the day-to-day energy that we bring to our team meeting, our company, our clients, the one-on-ones that we have, the families we are so blessed to have. How we show up matters. And if you are not showing up from that place of value and service, you're missing something. It's why showing up is this definition we all come up with. It's why I broke down into those 6 strategies I explained previously. And it's why I wrote about those things in my book. But showing up is what's going to make you stand out from everybody else. And as you're building this mid-career GPS, as you are gaining the momentum, your preparation, your positioning, and your promoting is what is going to accelerate you better than ever. And what you will find is that momentum is one of the best things that will ever happen in your career. Once you get the promotion or the recognition, the next one isn't so hard. The next one comes, and then it's the one after that, and then it's the one after that. And this applies to whether you are somebody who has jumped to multiple organizations throughout your career, or you have been in the same organization for 15 or 20 years. The momentum is what is key in building your GPS, because that is what will guide you. Your gut, your instincts, your competence, and your confidence is what is going to guide you to wherever next is for you. Whether you are a corporate professional, you are a frontline worker, you are a small business owner, you are considering an entrepreneurial journey, or you are an entrepreneur, that GPS that you create is going to guide you where you need to be. All right, big breath. That's a lot in there. So think about how you are preparing for what's next. You are positioning yourself strategically. You are promoting who you are and what you do. And you are showing up as your best self each and every day to make the impact you want. Make it a great day. I'll see you really soon. Take care. If you enjoyed today's show and don't want to miss an episode, subscribe on Apple Podcasts or wherever you usually listen. If you haven't already, I'd appreciate it if you would leave me a rating and review to let me know what you think, to help others find this podcast and continue to bring you relevant and useful content to help you navigate what's next for your career. And if you're ready to create your mid-career GPS and get rid of the overwhelm so you can find the job you'll love or love the job you have, visit my website at johnneral.com for more information about joining my private Facebook group and scheduling a free consult with me so we can start building your mid-career GPS together. Don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn and follow me on social at John Neral Coaching. I'll see you next time.